Hello and welcome to our quick demonstration on how to use the frequency function within Excel. We already have our data already identified, so we have all of our states and the average low temperature, average snowfall, and so on within each state. And what we want to do is we want to be able to determine how many states fall within certain ranges of average snowfall. Okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and highlight the average snowfall column, so highlight all the data. I'm going to create a name range on this one. So instead of actually having to enter C2 through C52, I can actually use name range. Clicking up here, you'll notice I already did this, but I just named it average snowfall. And I want to do the same thing with the temperature. And then you just hit enter. Now notice that the entire range is highlighted and it's actually now named average temperature. So this will become our array name. So now what we need to do is we need to be able to set our ranges. So we've already done this. So we've set equal distributions of 5 degrees. So we have 35 to 40 degrees, 41 to 45 degrees, and so on. And then we have our upper limits, which basically say, what's the upper limit of each one of these ranges? Well, 35 to 40, the upper range is 40, 41 to 45 is 45, and so on. So now we have our upper limits. Now for frequency, we want to highlight the area that's just the same size as the upper limits or the bin array. Okay, so we highlight this entire range here, and we're going to start our frequency by starting with an equal sign and then start typing frequency. Now you'll notice frequency pops up and it says calculates how often values occur within a range of values and then returns a vertical array of numbers having one more element than the bins array. So because frequency is already highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and hit tab to get us through it. Now it's going to put bold on what we need to do now. Now we need to say, what is our data array? Well, remember we named our ranges already. So if I just start typing average, we'll notice that average snowfall and average temp come up. Well, we're calculating the average temp right here. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And now I'm going to hit the comma. Now my next requirement pops up in bold, the bins array. Okay, that's simply this area right here, your bins array, or our upper limits of our average temperatures. Okay, now I'm going to do a closed parentheses. Now before you hit enter, this is probably one of the most important things. Because you cannot copy a frequency calculation or array calculation all the way down, we need to be able to do a shortcut, which is simply hitting the Control plus the Shift plus the Enter key. And once I do that, you'll notice the entire range populates. Okay, so now we're going to see that 6 states have an average temperature that fall between 35 and 40 degrees. 11 fit within the 41 to 45 degrees, and so on. And to validate our numbers, make sure we captured everything, we're going to simply do a quick sum. So all I'm doing is hitting the auto sum up in the upper location here and hitting enter, and we have 51. Well, we do have 51 states, so this appears to be correct. Now next thing we want to do is calculate the relative frequency. So what we want to do is we're going to call this cell right here, so we're going to go to J9, and we're going to simply say for each one of these frequency, what's the relative frequency of each one of these ranges? Now to do this, we simply hit equals this one divided by the total. Okay, now because we're going to copy this down, we're actually going to lock this with $signs, so that way it always pulls the cell to the left and divides it by the total frequency. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, now we can just simply copy this down. Now again, to make sure our numbers are correct, we always like to double check. Just again hit the auto sum. It'll highlight these columns here, hit enter, and it should always equal 1. Now if we were to take the percent frequency, now to do this, we simply take the equals, we take a relative frequency and multiply it by 100. Okay, so it's 11.76% frequency. Highlight all that down, and again we're going to go ahead and ensure our numbers are correct. So hitting the auto sum, go ahead enter, and this should always be 100%. It should always capture the entire range. Now we have a good depiction of the average temperature per temperature range for all 51 states. So there you have it. Thank you for watching.